What's going on, mi gente? I know it's been a while. I'm here, diegomontalvan. Well, I'm here. I haven't left, but I've been busy, to be honest with you guys. As most of y'all know, I've been moving. I literally moved into my new house in Miami today. So this is the day after the Peru-Paraguay friendly, but I needed to get a reaction video up for you guys. So here it is. Without further ado, let's get into it. Right from the start, I think a lot of us can say that we did not agree with the lineup that Juan Reynoso put out. And I think there's a lot of doubt still there. A lot of question marks, right? Asquith's back, what? But before we get into that, I want to say, yeah, that lineup to me, it didn't make a lot of sense in many ways. And you could see in that first half, right? I understand that this is a process that we've all already spoken about, right? And that Juan Reynoso needs to test out players. When he took charge of this team, we expected him to test out new players. But here we see that he's also testing out some of the older players, some of the players that were in Gareca's process early on, but had lost their place, right? And to be honest, I guess it's fair, right? He wants to test out who he wants to test out, and he's going to, right? He wants to find out what are the players that are going to work for him. What are the players that he can trust in? Just like Gareca and almost any other coach does, right? So against Paraguay, I think started off very, very timid. After seeing the lineups of both teams, I expected Paraguay to do a lot more, which I think they were the better side in the first half, to be honest with you. The right side, I think, of Peru was missing a lot. It was missing speed. It was missing any courageous type of attack. I think the only really, really good point of Peru was Brian Reina, to be honest. And since he's come on through Reynoso, I think little by little he's showing more and more. He's growing more and more, and that's good. That's good because we're gonna need replacements. We're gonna need people that can step in, right, when other of the main players are not up to par. I think obviously Galese, being Galese again, saved us many times. Collins wasn't great, but he's still good, man. I said it last night on the tweet. Since he took that shot, since he was given the chance to be a starter in Copa America, he took his shot and he hasn't given it back. He said, "This is my spot and that's it. Nobody else is getting it." And good for him, to be honest. He deserves it after all the silent years of him being a top center back in the MLS, right? Asquith, I think, obviously was the big surprise for many. But to be quite honest with you, he didn't do bad, right? Again, he wasn't great. He wasn't anything special, but he did what needed to be done. He was good, and because of that, I think he might get another shot, right? I think so. He didn't do anything to say, get out of here, hit the road. And then in the middle, obviously, we had Cartagena, we had Aquino, which were fine. They were good for what they do. And that's something that I wanted to explain, because I feel like a lot of people expected them to be maybe like Tapia and Yotun, and they're not. They're two totally different types of midfielders, right? They're both types of center midfielders. Obviously, both very defensive midfielders, but can also come up and try and take shots. And it's not you don't get the passing that you get with Yotun, right? Or maybe as much more coverage as you do it with Tapia. And so, yeah, I think they did fine, but again, it's not Tapia and Yotun, and we're still trying to find that out. I think that's what Reynoso's trying to do. He's trying to find out exactly what he can get out of each player, so he can figure out exactly what works best for this Peru, because this Peru is different, right? Like I said, Brian Reina, I think he was the bright spot in that first half. Valera, I don't want to say he was non-existent in the first half, but I think he just didn't have the type of service that he needed. Canchita also is someone that I've already mentioned many times. I think he's a great squad player, but he's not the type of player for me that is a starter that's gonna handle or settle the game. And I think every time I see him start, he proves me right. At least that's what I feel. And then Riera, I'm sorry, but he was really non-existent. And I'm sorry because it was his debut, it was his shot, and he just didn't look up to it. And again, I think it's fine that Reynoso did that because it is a friendly. The thing that people always complain about was Gareca not trying new players. Reynoso's starting to do it, and fair enough. It's a friendly, so why not? Why not do it? So yeah, after that first half, I expected Paraguay to easily beat Peru. I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 goals, but again, Galese was on point. The defense was okay, and then Araujo, he was fine. To be honest with you, I think he was fine. A lot of people gave him crap. I think he was fine, but to me, he shows that he's not a right back, and that's fair. But él cumple, right? Él cumple. He does what needs to be done in that staff as a right back. Marcos Lopez, he did fine as well. Second half, Reynoso, right at the half, took off Rivera and brought on Cueva. What can we say? Cueva remains the most important player on this team right now. He showed it. As soon as he came on, the passes started spraying around. The chances started being created, and he got the corner, right? For that corner right before the goal, Valera's goal, which props to Valera. Good run in, good beating his man, and way to head the ball in, right? So good for Valera, I think. Then Cueva with a beautiful pass after that, to be honest. And I thought that there was going to be a finish there, but whatever. Good pass. He had some good shouts. Una guacha ahí, really good nutmeg against Paraguayan player. So yeah, I think Cueva remains the focal point, the most important player right now. Then Iberico came in, and I think I wanted to see more of him. So I'm hoping, and Arias came in too, I'm sorry. And I'm hoping that I get to see more of these players that Reynoso called up against Bolivia. Now that we're playing in Arequipa, it's obviously still home. So I'd like to see more of these players. All in all, I think positive, because Reynoso tried out new players. We got to see some of the older players. We got to figure out what's working, what's not. Again, this is still a process. And I'm not saying that I agree 100% with Reynoso. I don't. But he's doing okay. So let's see what happens. There's one more game against Bolivia on Saturday. Hope to see Brian Reina again. Hope to see Quispe. That's one player I wanted to see. And I'd like to see him with Cueva, to be honest, playing alongside Cueva. Or maybe even Arias, right? So hope to see some of these younger players again. Yeah, like Cueva said at the end of the game, right? This was a young squad, and they all want to play. They all want to play their part. And he said it's great, because at the end of the day, a lot of these players that we've all been watching over these past couple years with Gareca are getting older. And unfortunately, time doesn't stop for anyone. So we need to start figuring out who can still play, who can still ball, and who needs to slowly move on. Or see if who of these younger players can slowly move in. So good for them. All in all, like I said, positive. Again, doesn't mean that there's still not a lot to work on, because there is. But small little positives. And the negatives that there were are good because we can work on that. We learn from that. Or at least I hope that Reynoso and his team are learning from these little negative things. So all in all, good job, guys. La Blanquirroja, let's go, let's get it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. You know, you guys can always find me on Twitter, but if Twitter goes down, I'm gonna be here. All right, take care.